Your website's hero section is the first impression you make, and it's either converting visitors or costing you leads. I'm Adam Sand, CEO of the Roofing Business Partner. I've broken down 11 hero section layouts, so you can steal what works and skip what doesn't. Let's jump in and turn your website into a lead machine.
There's 11 different hero page examples that I'm going to share with you today. I've given them names so you can just say, okay, I'm going to try the blah. And I call this the blah because every single company's first initial hero page idea. So there's key elements of it. When you have the blah, you're usually going to have some image that's going to span the whole page. That's why these arrows are here, is because it's saying this is your hero image. There's an image spanning it. So when they open up, there's an image. Sometimes you see an animated video. So every single piece of these things is something to test. So if it's on this picture, it means it's something to test. So you'd want to test your image. You'd want to test your headline. You want to test your subheadline. You want to test your button in that you could change colors, you could change the call to action. There's a big difference between get your quote and get my quote. Like there are people who have tested those things. It's usually through the language of the customer. Get my quote, not get a quote or get your quote or get your free estimate. It's get my free estimate. But lots of things are tested like button, but usually it's more along the lines of what is the headline, what's the subheadline, and then what's the button. So this is the blah. This is kind of the starting point, but there's not a lot here. You also have to consider how does this stack when you squish it down to be a mobile view. And a huge percentage of website traffic is mobile. So in many ways, you want to be thinking mobile first. So that's how we get to the better blah, because this works better on mobile. It's essentially the same idea, but this page is split down the middle, right? That's why this is here. And you have some kind of image, same thing, headline, subheadline, and button. The reason this is better is because it will usually stack better on mobile. Website designers know how to do this. So now we're going to talk about the testy teaser. So the testy teaser, the reason I call it the teaser is because it kind of teases the fold. The image should be such that you can see a percentage of it, like they should know or be curious, that's teased below the fold. You have the same thing, a headline and a subheadline. So if you've learned from a blah or a better blah that you have a headline and a subheadline that works, in theory, it should work here. All you're doing is giving them a reason to scroll. So if you have more information that you want to communicate about your offer, and they would need that more information in order to have higher likelihood to understand the offer, this is a good way to tease the fold and get the scroll. Now, the other thing you'll notice here, these three little circles, the stars. So the idea here is that you could have 5 stars, then you'd have like 3 faces. The reason you want to do it that way is then you say 245 happy clients or 245 Google reviews, and then the same old button. So that's why we call it the testy teaser, is because it's got testimonials in there and it teases the fold. So you have to know what your intention is and where each one of these would work best. And like I said, this one works best when there's more information below the fold. So now you have the 4x4x4 happy hero. And this is one where you want to show 4 happy customers that are 4 different advertisers. And hopefully you're going to get 4 times the conversions because everybody can see themselves in here. So the idea here is that this is like old person, and this is couple, and this is like rich dude, and this is like mommy. What you're looking for here is you're trying to say, hey, here's 4 people like you. Headline, subheadline, button. So whatever your offer is, you're trying to show that this hits 4 different kinds of people. The idea here is if you don't know who your ideal customer avatar is, this allows you to try and paint 4 possible avatars, and then you'll start to learn which one is your ideal customer avatar. So the next one is the Skeptic Smasher. So the Skeptic Smasher is designed to try and remove skepticism. So this is usually a good one for like roof washing, roof coating, roof rejuvenation. When you're trying to break skepticism, you want every element of this page to be designed to eliminate skepticism. So the elements are your headline, your subheadline. Usually your subheadline is going to be like a little longer because you're going to say something like, Go Nano Roof Rejuvenation. The only way to make your roof last 5 years longer, guaranteed. Then you're going to have a button, which is your call to action. Now, for the skeptics who want to learn more, they can click here, which is an alternate call to action, which is the more info, which will usually scroll them down to something has more information, because usually right below here, you're going to have other things that are of social proof. It might be like a scroller of different testimonials. And then below that is usually information about the product. So then borrow credibility, social proof, soft call to action, frequently asked questions, hard call to action. Like that's the total layout of your page. So this would scroll down maybe half a page or 1 page, would take them to learn more. So you're just establishing that if the behavior is not ready to be a call to action yet, then the behavior is let's let's learn more. So then the other elements is these like 3 overlapping elements on the page. These could be 3 blocks. They could be bubbles over top of a great image. They could be 3 images. If you're doing something like roof rejuvenation, it could be the old roof, new roof. Then you usually have 1 testimonial. So it's Robin, 5-star customer, awesome testimonial. And then here basically saying, and there's more. So like 3,200 people in Texas have used RoofMax to rejuvenate their roof. So the whole purpose of this is to smash the skeptics. If you're selling something that is frequently not understood by a customer, then send them here. So this is the case study combo platter. Kind of like a Skeptic Smasher in a way, but the idea is that instead of necessarily trying to feel like they ended up in the right place, or they want to know, is this for me? So if your targeting is really good, your ads are saying like, never pay a deductible ever again. And you're talking about some kind of lifetime hail-proof roofing, like a Euro Shield or something that purports itself to be a hail-proof roof. Well, then if your ads are targeting the right people, people might want to say, am I in the right place? Right? These are for the people who aren't even going to scroll and they just want to convert because they came here and they went, yep, this is for me, because the image should be some kind of happy customer outcome. So the whole formula between these 2 elements that are going to be overlapped or in some way connected visually is outcome plus data equals proof of result. So some kind of happy customer outcome and then some kind of statistic of data or a result, some kind of screenshot, something that's going to say this is the data. And then you got the happy customers, and then usually you have an alternate call to action, which is learn more, but this goes to reviews. So this would open up in a new window, so they stay here so they can come back, but it's like, okay, we've got X number of happy customers, learn more. And that goes and like learn more, maybe say like check out our reviews. And the skeptics can go to check out the more reviews. The Freddies that believe right away can just do the call to action. The proof supports that call to action because they'll be just like these happy customers. And visually, they've got this idea of outcome plus proof equals result. So that's the case study combo platter. All right, well, let's move on. Okay, so this is the straight to business. You have some kind of hero image that takes up a portion of the screen. It's good for mobile because this one will usually have like the headline and subheadline are on top of the image. The form stacks below it, or it's like headline, subheadline, image, form. But the idea is like these people are ready to convert. When they get to this page, they're ready to convert. This makes it super simple and easy. They don't click a button to open a form. Like this is the first one where the form is on the page. So this is the fastest way to convert. But again, they're converting now because they know you, they want you, they trust you, and they just want their problem solved. So that's where you use the straight to business. So the next one is the business to business buffet. So this is more for like commercial roofers where you're a solutions consultant. This is where the buyer is looking for some very specific things, or they want to know that you can do all things and you don't know which one that is. You have your headline and your sub headline. Then you have thing 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's kind of saying we do lots of stuff. So it could be do lots of stuff, have lots of stuff, certified in lots of stuff. So it could be 23 years in business, in-house crews, maintenance programs, Carlisle certified roofer. Those are the 4 most important things. And then same kind of premise as before, you have a call to action for the people who want to move fast, and you could have take the scenic route and this second CTA. So this one could be like get in touch or contact me now for your primary call to action. Then your secondary call to action could be like view our certifications or view past projects. So that's more the scenic route for the people who want to learn more. They're not necessarily skeptic. They're just like, okay, you've satisfied my 4 biggest concerns, but I want to know more. So then this is the goods gallery. So this is the idea of like trying to just show the goods. So same idea. We got a headline, subheadline, and a call to action. So very similar. A visual element of this could be either that these things are scrolling or that as you scroll, they move in what's called kind of a parallax motion. The idea is that this is kind of like showing the goods, some kind of the goods of what you sell. So this is more of a way to show the products that you sell or projects that you have done to allow people to go, that's what I want. The idea here is that like when people see this, they go, oh, that's what I'm looking for. So this is solution result shadow box. I really had a hard time naming this one. So the idea here is it's a very simple background, a darker and lighter color, like dark gray and lighter gray, or it could be 2 different colors. But the idea is that the white box here, this is the shadow box. The idea is that visually, we're drawing attention to the results. So the headline is no subheadline. The subheadline is the results. So that's the key difference with this. This is a solution result. So the headline is usually speaking towards the solution, and then you have a white box that's very contrasting that has three key results inside of it. These could be statistics. This is usually trying to be very quick to the solution. And they usually put a shadow around this box, so it almost looks like it's hovering on top of these two colors. Everything here is designed to visually anchor to the results. So it should be the result that the customer wants. So then at the very bottom, right, you have a very subtle fold image. So it's very little below the fold here. And you're trying to say, okay, I just want to pull people in to this piece to say, okay, we're going to get a little bit of teasing the fold, but not as much as like the other ones. The goal here is really to attract people's attention to those. So finally, we're on the bento box. I call it this one because to me, it looks like one of those little Japanese bento boxes. So the idea here is that the headline and the subheadline are side by side, and then your call to action. Now, again, in mobile, they're going to stack. But here, the idea behind the bento box is to, again, similar to before with the Skeptic Smasher, is that you have the happy result and the hero image. So some kind of thing is like, you'll feel like these people. So how it reads is like, because of statistics like this, you will say things like this happy customer, this review, and then you'll feel like these people in this hero image. And so that's the bento box. And the whole idea is, again, driving towards that call to action so that you get the lead, because this is all about getting them to convert.